white man's way. So what our ancestors do, we shun. And by shunning that, we denied ourselves of knowing our true identity. But I had to go back and start to study what my people did, which was natural to them, and realize that those things that I was looking at is exactly what is in the Old Testament.
Right. So it's a journey, wasn't it? Because for us, it became a journey to find out who we were, and because a lot of people saying that, well, the people of the land are the original people, so we know them are people of they're Caucasian people. So we were just black people. So I played the first clip about he's saying that the Egyptians were actually black people. Now, we understand the whole continent that from far was Africa themselves. So the people who used to run into Africa to hide had to look the same. So with him now speaking, saying that these were African typical Negro features, you couldn't white a Caucasian person with an African and say they're hiding. You would have known where they were.
Can I say something there? The nation of Israel, most people don't get this. They get this a bit wrong.
That's right.
The nation of Israel was born in Africa. You see, when Jacob came to Africa with his family of 70, that wasn't a nation. That was a family. Okay? That family grew, and he had 12 children. All those 12 children had children. And they, as their families grew, they became clans. As the clans grew, they became the tribes. And when you put the tribes together, you have the nation. All that happened in Africa. And they were in Africa for 400 years. Now, imagine people living in a place for 400 years. That is their home. And all that happened in Africa. So the Israelites started as a nation, as Africa. So the Israelites were Africans who moved back to the land of Canaan and formed the nation of Israel in the land of Canaan. But if you read all the historians, they always associated the origin of the Israelites as Egyptian. If you read the olden Herodotus and Strabo, and they always associated the origin of the Israelites as Egyptian, which is African. So because they saw that as their origin, even I can give you an example today with Europeans. They form America and everywhere else, but they always see their origin as Europe. So when Europe is in trouble, they come running. You see, same way when the Israelites were in their land, and they were being threatened by the Assyrians and the Babylonians, guess where they'll go? Back to their land of origin. So they ran back to Africa.
Right. So the question arises, they run back to the land of origin.
Yes.
Okay. But the people in Jerusalem now couldn't run back to Africa and say that's the land of origin, could they? Because they are Caucasian.
Yes.
So, but the perception, the fraud, is just the saying the Hebrews, Israelites, are Caucasians.
Yeah, I wouldn't use the word fraud. I mean, a lot of the Jews today, even the Falasians, there is a history which they don't deny. They acknowledge that they are converts.
That's right.
Yeah, so if somebody is openly acknowledging who they are, that they are converts and they adopted this religion, they are not trying to perpetuate any fraud. I don't necessarily subscribe to the fact that people are trying to hide something from us.
Right.
What I think is that we need to come out, those of us in Africa, need to come out and tell the story.
That's exactly right.
Yes, so when we tell the story, then our brothers in America and the Caribbean will get to know the truth. Nobody is stopping that from happening. And because nobody is stopping that from happening, I won't use words like conspiracy or fraud.
Right.
But it's up to us, like I'm here now, to tell the story.
Yeah, but many people will still say that, oh, no, they're people of color, okay? But as you explain yourself, we are on a journey ourselves. We come to the knowledge that, yes, there were people of color in the Bible. I was told there was no people of color in the Bible. And then we realized this Bible is our history book, you know? So another question arises here then. Why being a Hebrew is important? because we have taught that the blessing has been transferred from the Israelite to spiritual Israel, which is the church.
Okay. Knowledge of who you are is always important because it gives you a direction in life. It gives you a purpose in life. So that answers the part of why you need to understand being a Hebrew.
Right.
And apart from that, there are things to do with the Hebrews that the Hebrews need to know, because their ancestors or our ancestors went into an agreement with the Almighty.
That's right.
So those agreements still stand today. So if we don't know who we are, we will be breaking those agreements and suffering the consequences of them.
Perfectly right.
Simply because we don't know our history.
Right.
So knowing our history.
So not knowing your history as well is no excuse.
Not knowing your history is death. Right. Do you see? Yeah. It's suffering. It's everything we are going through as black people today. Yeah. But then you touch on this thing about spiritual Israel.
Yes.
Now, there is nothing like that in the Bible. Okay? There is. I can tell everybody out there confidently.
In fact, is that be blasphemy, wouldn't it?
No, I don't know, because the people using the term didn't come up with it. Yeah. Somebody or some church or the Catholic Church or whatever, I don't know who started it. They came up with this thing about spiritual Israel. Okay, there are a lot of people who have come to believe this. Even I did once upon a time.
I did too.
Okay, that there was something called spiritual Israel, until my examination of the scriptures showed me that no, there's nothing like that in scripture.
That's correct.
Do you see? The concept is based on Galatians 3:26 to 29. Okay? But even that verse doesn't mention spiritual Israel.
Okay.
You see, spiritual Israel is an expression that people came up with. And once they came up with that expression, they tried to build things around it to make it look as if it's something that's come from the Bible. It's not.
It's not.
No, it's not. So God made a promise to the Hebrews.
Okay.
I mean, God signed a covenant with the Hebrews.
Oh, right.
Right. And when you read Galatians 3, it's talking about Jews, Greeks, and things like that. It doesn't mention Hebrews. So when somebody wants to use Galatians 3 to say that, oh, God's arrangement with the Hebrews have come to an end. Okay. Galatians 3 doesn't say that.
No.
Because the promise was made to Hebrews,
right,
not to Jews.
But what they said, a question is that it's a new covenant. Now,
yes.
by reading it, there's no such thing. It says renewed covenant. There's a difference between new covenant and renewed covenant. It's an old covenant that is being revived again.
Let's look at what the scripture is saying. When God made a covenant, He made it with the Hebrew nation.
That's correct.
When Jesus made the covenant, He made it with a group of people.
That's right.
Okay? Those group of people is people He had chosen or taken out from among the Hebrews. Do you see? And He was making a covenant with them about a heavenly kingdom. But this is another topic altogether.
Another topic. Okay.
I'm just trying to show that the covenant with the Hebrews still stands.
Exactly.
Because it was made with the whole nation.
That's right.
Jesus' covenant with a group of people.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Let's play a little song, Bob Marley, and let's part with the Exodus, and then we'll be back. We'll be shortly back to you.